What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy ABK, and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly Forex and crypto analysis. I really do appreciate it. And so let's go ahead and get this started. So first thing that I usually do when I hop up on my weekly analysis is I go and check out what's happening with the news, right? And that's for the whole week, right? So I'm not a fundamental analysis trader. I just look at the news to tell me like, oh, okay, these news events are what's going to be popping up. So you can expect some type of high volatility in the market, right? So no news Monday or Tuesday. Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, we have USD news with CPI. 1 p.m. with FOMC minutes. So this is what you really want to watch out for. Like core CPI and FOMC, those are things that you definitely want to be watching out for next week. 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Australian dollar employment change and unemployment rate. So basically the Australian dollar NFP. Thursday, that's basically how I call it. That's basically how I call it. This AUD employment change and unemployment rate. Thursday, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, you have USD news with PPI. And Friday, we have 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time as well as core retail sales news. So definitely want to watch out for the US dollar, as there's going to be a good amount of news going on, right? So without further ado, let's go on over to the charts, right? So let me go ahead and first full screen that. Okay, so DXY. So DXY, it had rejected off of this big resistance that I had mapped out, the zone, if you will. On the weekly time frame, the candlestick that printed out wasn't necessarily the best looking, and I need to change this because there we go. And it's not looking like the greatest to me, because I mean, on the weekly time frame there is this doji candle here, so that means that there might be some indecision in the market. But I ultimately what I wanted the price to do was for it to jump down to this buy box. Let me go into the daily time frame. After coming to this high, I wanted it to retrace back to this buy box before trying to go bullish again. However, it did stop at this zone that it was previously rejecting off of, and then it bounced and went bullish after that. So that when I'm seeing that, is not necessarily making me want to get into anything with the DXY right now. But I'm going to go ahead and remove the drawings and let's get a fresh markup here, right? So we have this zone that price is currently at. It's holding it pretty well, and what I really want to see here is, okay, if price is going to go bullish, which, I mean, if you look at the weekly candlesticks, 3, 1, 2, I mean, this was a doji candle, but 3 days of price being bullish, and price is over the 50 EMA on the weekly as well. We're seeing these rejections here. I still want to kind of see that retracement. I still kind of want to see the same thing that I had mapped out, right? Come to the downside. Ooh. Let me go ahead and make this white. That's the text. Oops. I meant to make that white. There you go. So push to the downside and then continue going bullish. But like I said, with how the market had moved last week with NFP 4-hour time frame, I'm gonna go ahead and draw out this zone that price rejected off of, because again, this was the zone that price previously failed to break through, right over here to the left, right? When we had price make this bullish move and reject here, then it dropped down before it then goes and makes a higher high, right? The dollar, there's really nothing except for this huge zone that is stopping the dollar from going bullish, right? Or, I mean, technical analysis wise, I don't want to say that that's the reason why it's not moving, because that's debatable. But you guys know what I'm saying, right? Like, for a price to continue going bullish, it has to break through this zone right here. And if it doesn't break through it, then it's just gonna hold bearish, you know? Or it's not gonna hold bearish, it's just not gonna continue making any higher highs. And so this is something that I'm still watching out for. And I'm gonna show reasons why this probably isn't going to play out. So I'm going to write that there. And the reason why I say that this probably might not play out is because if I go into the 1 hour time frame and I go look at what price is doing here, it's like, okay, yeah, like I said, it retested this zone that it previously was struggling from and then went bullish right after. And then not only that, if I draw the fib from this low to this high, we can see that prices, like, wait, what time? Like NFP is at 7:30, right? We could see with this wick right here to the downside at 7:30, because it's at 7 o'clock a.m. right here, that's when price ended up started going bullish. Like right after it touched here, then it went bullish. So if this continues to if this continues higher, any higher, then again, I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't look like to me that it's gonna drop down to this zone that I have that I want it to enter for me to get into any buys, and it's just gonna play off with the break and retest of this broken structure in between 93.684 and 93.752, right? That's basically how I'm feeling right now when it comes to this DXY. So I kind of have to see how this is going to play out. I would have rather loved to see 93.900 come and get hit before price going bullish, but again, it rejected here, and now we have to see how this plays out. Currently, price is under that 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, but nonetheless, like I stand by what I said, you know. And you know, let's even throw the fib the other way around, right? Let's say from this high to this low, we throw the fib out there, right? I like what it's done here because it did act like it wanted to go bullish, but then if, like, let's say for example, you were trying to sell the DXY, right? The sell, the retracement price never came up to these equal highs, and then ended up falling some, right? So again, this is a tricky. The DXY is in a tricky spot. I wouldn't try to necessarily try to sell it, but also as well, trying to buy it isn't the greatest opportunity in my head to play out. Like, you know, like I'm just like, I'd rather try to look for something that's more clear cut than what the DXY is currently showing me. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna leave this up here. I'm not saying that I'm getting into anything, or I'm not having any certain bias towards a certain location the way how the DXY wants to go, except for if it comes down to this demand zone, I would love for it to go bullish. But overall, overall the market's bullish, like, and overall that's the sentiment that I'm playing off of, is off of the bullish, like the bullish market structure. Like it's so obvious that this is like just trying to go bullish. So we'll see what happens with Euro USD. The DXY. It's going over to weekly arbitrage. So weekly arbitrage, second week in a row that it's up here at this upper danger zone, and it's been holding here. And again, we have a doji candle on the weekly time frame. So one of two things can happen here. Either A, price can reject from here and then start to fall a little bit, or B, it's just going to end up going even higher and then coming to the second deviation or even the third deviation, right? So those are things that I'm going to be watching for on the DXY, right? I'm not necessarily trying to hop into anything anytime soon. Daily time frame hasn't even called anything quite yet. 4 hour time frame, I called for this sell. I wanted the retracement before getting in, and this 4 hour looks kind of messy, but you know, just me trying to get into the DXY sells right now. It's a little too early, although yes, the 1 hour time frame did play that out very nicely with this sell right here. Not really, because it's called for the sell, went bullish, they called for the sell again. Like this, the 1 hour time frame is just consolidating, so I would even try to play off of that. And then the 4 hour time frame as well is not the greatest look either. So when it comes to the DXY, again, I'm more bullish than I am bearish, but at this point I kind of have to wait on it to see what it's going to do. So overall, like I said, I would want to see it come down to this demand zone right here, and we're like 93.433 is more than likely where I would be trying to get into any type of, okay, so this is where I'm going to be looking to sell or to buy the DXY type of thing, you know? So I'm going to be watching for that regardless, but it's just not clear to me. Okay, going over to Euro USD. Euro USD we have here. Didn't really trade off of this. Didn't really like try to get into anything last week when it comes to Euro USD, but we have. Again, it's like when it comes to this Euro USD and the DXY, it's kind of not my cup of tea to even try to like get into anything right now, because with the Euro USD, it's broken through the structure that the DXY hasn't even broken through, you know, and it's holding under it as well, and is not showing me any type of signs on the daily time frame or on the weekly time frame that it wants to start turning around, unless this is indeed a liquidity grab. If this is a liquidity grab, then that would be shown next week, and something like this would happen to your USD, right? That's if this is a liquidity grab. But again, the price is holding under here, and it's holding pretty nicely. But with that being said, it's like, okay, from this high to this low, kind of seeing 1.16091 is, and selling off of that isn't necessarily a terrible idea. But again, that is only if price is indeed going to go bearish and continue going bearish. If price does something like this where it goes bullish like and very fast, then retraces and then continues, then I don't think that this is going to be selling anymore. But as of right now, it's kind of hard not to be in sells. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, just even look at this right here. Let's just say off of this fast bearish moves to the downside, you know, then price just consolidating a little bit, going up a little higher, consolidating, stuff like that. It doesn't look appealing. It doesn't look great to try to get into any of those type of trades. Even from this high to this low, we can say that, oh, okay, prices came up and hit that 61.8, just like with the DXY, and it continued falling just off of something like that, you know? So DXY, I mean, Euro USD, not really one of my favorites to try to trade this week, right? Like, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to end up trying to see what this 4-hour time frame is going to be talking about, because it is setting up for a potential buy. But yeah, and this was for arbitrage users. I got out of that trade, but yeah, with Euro USD, for me personally, I would not want to buy it right now, but also I wouldn't want to try to get into any type of sells either, because it's too low, and price could literally just try to do some like, oh, manipulation to the downside, but then I'm breaking out to the upside, retest, and then continuation upside. I don't want to try to get into anything like that, so I'm just going to be patient on Euro USD. Okay, let's go on over to AUD USD. All right, so AUD USD. So for the swing trade that I had talked about, price had moved up 134 pips, right? I had taken my partial profits, or I had moved my stop loss to break even on this trade once price got to 104 pips, right? We were risking, let me go over here. We're risking 122 pips. Price has moved more than 1-to-1. So if anybody had gone into this swing trade, you should definitely be looking to take some partial. You should definitely look to move your stop loss to break even, so you don't risk anything any longer from this trade. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this, and also I'm going to hide this as well. I'm going to delete all these items. I'm going to delete all of this right here. Actually, no. I'm going to keep those there. I'm going to keep this, what I have to the left here. And for those that don't know what the setup I was looking for on AUD was, is, hold on, give me a second, because I feel like, there we go. What the setup was for this is for a long-term swing, right? From this high to this, from this low to this high, price had retraced and it made a very pretty retracement, down to this demand zone previously, and even went lower than that, and then went bullish right after. Once price had made that bullish move, I was saying, okay, what I want to see now is, because it just looked like to me that it was manipulation, right? Price had already broken through the previous higher low, and I was saying like, okay, I want to see price make a high, like from the low to the high. Once it retraces, I want to see price can keep going to the upside, right? Type of play. And if we draw the fibs from the low to the high from over here, we can see that price did indeed come to the 71%, got us in, even went lower than the 71%, 78.6, and then started going bullish. So that was the play that we was looking at overall, right? Weekly time frame on AUD/USD. I do like, I mean, last week was a doji candle, and this week is just not a candle that is like a decisive candle that's saying that, okay, yes, price is going to go bullish. Because to me, it kind of looks like, well, not even kind of, but it just seems like right now, oh, this is just retesting these previous lows that it never got a chance to break through. And so that's exactly like how it's like perceiving. That's another reason I'm like, okay, move your stop loss to break even from your trade. Whatever you're risking, you've already made that. No need to risk any more money. Move stop loss to break even and see how this plays out, right? Because again, just like how the DXY, it looks like it could potentially fall. This also looks like on AUD/USD that it could just hold right here at these, like these were just on the daily time frame. Just think about it on the daily time frame. At some point in time, these were just equal highs. Why? Oh yeah, we're forgetting. These were just equal highs, you know? And so price just came and escalated higher, like not escalated, but it went a little higher to take off these equal highs. And now price is still back into this range. So that's another thing that I'm like, okay, the daily time frame, I don't like that doji popping up. I don't like it respecting that 50 EMA. I don't like it making those equal, like just like looking like a stop hunt to the upside, because that's what, again, the DXY, it looks like it just stopped up to the downside for it to go bullish. EU looked like it stopped up to the upside, looking like it wants to go bearish. So that's how I'm kind of feeling with AUD/USD. So that's why I said, yo, I encourage those, if you've taken this trade, to take some partial profits and move your stop loss to break even. Because if price comes back down here at 0.72212, one or two things is going to happen. 0.722, whatever it is, right? From this low to this high, although price is like broken through these lower highs right here, price would still need to retrace 0.72190 and then go bullish, or it just keeps falling from where it's at. So AUD/USD, not a pair that I'm necessarily looking at to try to get into. And again, just look at the 1 hour time frame, just wanted that bullish move above these equal highs and then came right back into the range that it was at. It's kind of weird, especially if it's rejecting off of that daily 50 EMA. It's kind of weird. So watching to see what plays out there. Not going to try to get into a buy by any means, especially when prices right at that major zone. So that's AUD/USD. Gonna be patient on it. I know the 1 hour time frame is calling for a sell opportunity, but I'm not going to get into that quite yet. I mean, here's my thing. AUD/USD, if there was a time that I was gonna sell it, and especially how it just did that stop hunt to the upside right there on the higher time frames, in my opinion, this wouldn't be a terrible time to try to sell it. No cap. But you just gotta be like, okay, I'm getting into this sell because of yada 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 reason, right? Daily time frame looks like it rejected off of that mean line, and it could potentially go. It can go anywhere. It could go either way, right? So I'm still holding on to that buy, and I'm gonna see what AUD/USD is really about to do. But other than that, like there's nothing. Like weekly time frame over here, look, it's like it's already hit the lower danger zone. And again, it's either A, gonna keep going to the second deviation, or B is gonna start turning around over here. So I'm gonna just keep on going and move on to UCHF. We're done. Okay. UCHF. So on UCHF, what I wanted was, okay, that breakout impulsive move to the upside, fall, retracement, and then continue falling. That's what I originally wanted off of UCHF, and it kind of looked like it almost did it, but it didn't necessarily hit that full the full extension on both times, because as you can see, I mean, not extensions, the retracement, I wanted to get that 71% fib retracement up to 93.100 at least. Let me stop. Let me put that 93.100, but I never got that entry, that sell limit, or anything like that, you know? So, and again, this is still looking valuable right here, as price will come up to this supply zone and then continue falling to the downside. That's what looked legit right there. I kind of still have that set up in my head, but at this point, I'm not too sure. The daily time frame on UCHF does not tell me that this wants to keep buying. It more tells me that it wants to keep selling. But again, when it comes to UCHF, I'm not really crazy over how it's looking, especially how if you come to the left over here, you see right here 0.93128. That's where I wanted price to come up to before I look to short it long term wise, you know. So let's see what UCHF is about to do here. All right, so going over to arbitrage. I'm still watching to see if it's gonna fall from this zone. If it does, then down. Okay. Weekly time frame, prices at the upper danger zone. So that's one thing that you want to definitely watch for. Daily, nothing too crazy here for me to look at. 4-hour time frame, I did call for the sell, but then ended up just falling back down. So there's that. And then the 1-hour time frame, this just looks, it just looks not that great to me. But that's UCHF, man. There's like really nothing on for UCHF for me personally. I'm gonna have to just be patient and wait. All right, let's go over there and step on over to USD Mexican. Maybe it can give us an opportunity that whatchamacallit wasn't giving us. So I've been talking about, okay, yes, price has been in this range. Want to see what this range is gonna hold or what this range is gonna do before I look to try to sell USD Mexican pesos, right? And I didn't get into anything. And according to this weekly time frame, it definitely is still closing in between this zone. And from this high to this low, we can still see that this is a area of interest. Prices came up to the 61.8 and left a huge wick there above these equal highs. That's something that you definitely want to watch out for on USD Mexican, right? Daily time frame, it looks pretty bullish, but let me see something real quick. Yeah, it looks pretty bullish. It looks like there's a doji candle on the daily time frame, but 4-hour time frame, I'm watching this and I'm actually kind of upset that I didn't try to look at this a little more. But that price push to the downside retracement after that stop went, and it's holding at this sell box right here, is looking kind of suspect, right? Then we even had some pretty decent sells after price hit that 71% and price just continued falling. So what I'm going to be looking at to see is if USD Mexican will come back up to this sell box, and if it can get pretty close to 20.76461, then I might look to get into a possible short opportunity. So I'm gonna go ahead and set that up. Because let's see what happens here. Because the way how this fell, reject, retracement, the continuation. If this does continue to fall, then that might mean that the US dollar is going to fall, which would then be able to bring us some opportunities in the market next week. But for now, like, yeah, these USD pairs, out of all of these, except for AU that I'm already in, everything else doesn't look that great to me. When it comes to all these other USD pairs. Let me take a look at gold real quick. Yeah, gold is another one. If whoever is bullish on gold, please stop it. I'm just joking. I'm just playing with y'all. But still, yeah, this is something very, 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 very interesting to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually remove all these drawings. We'll hide them real quick. And let's acknowledge what we have here on gold. We have this candle that looks like it wants to sell more than it wants to buy, although we have a wick to the downside on one weekly candle, and then the next weekly candle we have a wick to the upside, right? So it can be very confusing. Weekly time frame doesn't have anything for us except for that it is under the 50 EMA, right? And it also is rejecting this previous, hold on. Let me actually go and get a fresh markup real quick. Hold on, guys. You know what? Let me just use this, and I'm gonna go and use my same chart that I have, and just kind of walk around it. Okay, so fall, bullish move, retracement, continuation to the upside. That's what I had at 1735. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and delete all this stuff here, and then I'm going to go ahead and do a fresh markup, because gold hasn't done what I wanted it to do, right? So first and foremost, I have to acknowledge that right now where price is currently at, it's currently rejecting off of a zone that it has been respected. I just wanted to point that out first and foremost. And secondly, I am still watching to see what price is doing off of this weekly drop, this wick that I had left behind a couple weeks ago, and this retracement, because it did retrace back to 1722 or 1723 basically, and it rejected right off of it to go bullish. However, yesterday's candle or Friday's candle, the way how it ended up closing on the daily time frame, that is not appealing to me to say that, okay, I'm going to continue buying this. You know, this looks like a straight up shooting star. This looks like a straight up shooting star, and this looks like a fake out, especially after hitting the 50 EMA on the daily time frame off of FOMC news. This looks like a shooting star, and this looks like to me it's just going to keep falling to the downside. Like this liquidity grab, this liquidity that we've been talking about, that price, there's a lot of liquidity down here. That's what this looks like to me, in my opinion. So 1, 2, oops, 2, 3, 4. Like at this point, price just has to come and take these lows out, in my opinion, especially the way how the daily candle closed yesterday with the news and all that. I feel like this wants to end up pushing to the downside. Just going over to the 4-hour time frame. I'm still going to be watching for this type of play though, and seeing what price is going to do once it gets here, right? So actually, first let me go ahead and mark this off, hide that. Okay, what I want to see happen is price make this big move to the upside. If it can retrace and then continue going bullish, then that would be solid for gold. I'm going to be definitely watching out for that. But again, just based off of the way how the daily closed and the way how this 4-hour candlestick looks like it just said, oh, I'm here to grab your lunch money. And now I'm about to fall right back down into the range where I literally took off from. It's done 100% retracement. You guys know how, like, for those who have been watching me, or for those who have been following my analysis for a while, you guys know how I feel about those 100% retracements, especially after something like this happening so fast. And this looks like the evening star to me, right? So, I mean, like I said, at this point, I'm kind of like, this looks more bearish to me than it looks bullish. At this point, what I would kind of have to see if I wanted to get into a sell, which is kind of where I'm at, is price pushing up to 1774 and then continuing to the downside. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that price is going to end up falling. And even if it does fall, this here where I'm trying to get price at 1739, I'm not so certain it's going to happen. So with that being said, got to be really careful with gold. I think this thing is just going to keep falling, like pushing to the downside. But again, this is something that I would watch out for regardless. And I mean, let's just take a look at it from this point of view, right? Let's grab this fib and let's flip it around, right? So we have it at price at these lows, and then let's take it to these highs where price started the push down. We could see right here, 71% price rejected from here, and then ended up dropping, but then it came back up, and it basically came up to like 1772. Let's go into the 1 hour so you guys can see it better. So then after it's done all that, it came back to it dropped from the 71%, came back up to the 78.6% fib, and even higher, but now it dropped back lower. So again, this to me right now, it just looks like either it's gonna keep falling or it's gonna come down over to the 1738 area, hold, and then go bullish. I'm more in favor for it to keep falling, though, in my honest opinion, because I feel like these equal lows are just gonna get ran through. And what do you know? The target for this sell is anywhere between 1762 and 1772. The 61.8 extension is right at those equal lows. So I mean, that just looks a little bit too suspicious to me. So we're gonna see what happens with gold, but I'm definitely more bearish on gold than anything. However, I still want to see what price is gonna do once it makes its retracement, and if it's gonna hold at the 1739, 1738 area. Okay, going over to arbitrage. Yeah, 1 hour time frame, I would not be able to play that. 4 hour time frame, I would not be able to play this either. Daily time frame, it called for the sell, but it's been holding under that RSI line, and so that's something that you definitely want to watch out for when it comes to trying to get into a buy opportunity when it comes to gold. Okay, and weekly time frame has just been bearish, and it's calling for a sell this week again. So monthly time frame, see what we're doing. Monthly time frame is just pretty overextended, but yeah, be careful with them gold buys, because I'm not feeling the gold buys necessarily. All right, US indices. I remember I had talked about this last week where I said that, okay, price has gone bullish, retracement. If it holds right here, then it's going to continue going higher and make higher highs. And it did just that, both on S&P and the Dow Jones. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Okay. Broken through this previous high. It's good to see. 4 hour time frame. Still see that price is holding above this big 78.6 here, right? If we see price coming back down into this supply zone or into this zone in general, like let's say for instance, it did all this bullish move right here, and then price decides that, okay, I want to go to the downside and then continue pushing bullish, right? That's what I would be looking for if I'm trying to get back into a buy on the S&Ps and the US 30. Something like this would have to be the play, right? And it's kind of like this. It's like, oh, I think I got the stop on type of vibe. Well, not really. It didn't stop. Let me not play myself. So yeah, all I would want to see is price to push to the downside 4326.9 before trying to go bullish. And if it doesn't hold above 4,365 or whatever it was, yeah, I think it's like 4,269, whatever it is, then I probably will just get out the trade and be like, okay, I'm gonna just be patient and wait to trade another day. Going over to the US indices on arbitrage, weekly time frame has been bearish, but I'm not looking at that, nor am I looking at the weekly. This 4 hour time frame is very interesting because I would say I would want it to do something like this personally. So that is for S&P. Oh, and we have 1 hour time frame calling for the sell. So yeah, S&P, I'm definitely looking for the bears on this. If I get a retracement back up to this RSI line, then maybe I'll try to get into the sell once market opens. Just like I did last week. Y'all saw that last week, huh? Yeah. All right. Going over to US 30 as well. Same thing, guys. I wanted it to come down to 33796.7. I never did, but it did come into my demand zone and it held pretty nicely. So I'll show you from this low to this high. Right there. Price never came down to that low, but I had managed to get into a trade because I'm like, okay, price from this high, from that low to this high, price is all up, coming back into this demand zone. I'm not gonna let this up. Took it to the upside, skyrocketing. So again, same thing. It's basically the same thing with let me get rid of this. It's basically the same thing as with US. I was gonna say US 500, SPX 500. I just want that retracement, and I want to see what it's gonna do down at that retracement before continuing to the upside and finally breaking through this damn supply zone that it keeps hitting. This is a very tough supply zone right here. But we'll see what plays out. I do expect it to get broken. So other than that, there's nothing much for me to really say about the US indices. Except for just looking at them on arbitrage real quick and seeing if that short-term sell looks good, which on the 1 hour time frame, hey, the 1 hour time frame is already calling for the sell, so I'm probably gonna end up getting into this. When market opens, I will see what happens, and I'll set the exit alert and all that stuff. Daily time frame holding at this RSI line, yeah, I definitely might be, well, not definitely, I'm probably gonna be getting into one of these two on Sunday. Okay. Let's look at the crypto. I've been talking about this supply zone that Bitcoin has finally, dang, I'm really kind of actually happy to see that Bitcoin's making highs like this. But yeah, I'm glad that prices finally came back up to the supply zone. Remember, guys, all of these targets down here, they're going to remain here for the longest time. So unless price goes and makes another all-time high, which if it does, then congratulations to Bitcoin, man, for reals. But anyways, price is currently rejecting off of my 71% fib at this supply zone. And again, guys, I say this every time I talk about the supply zone. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, but I cannot see the supply zone right here and say that, oh, I'm going to be looking for buys, especially if price is rejecting and holding here. Price has been holding at this in between 54K. I mean, in between 53,000 and $56,000 because the high was 56,000 for the past go closer so that I don't get misquoted. 1, 2, 3, 4 days, right? And it's been holding here at the 71%. You guys know how I feel about my 71% fib. That is, if I'm going to get into a trade, that's a place where I'm going to put my maximum risk at. But I will still look to be getting in at the 78.6 or the 61% fib. So with that being said, Bitcoin is still holding here, and I'm not necessarily feeling. I mean, the weekly candlestick as well. It is pretty bullish. It is showing that bullish 2 weeks in a row. But again, I can't just ignore it and say that, oh, this is gonna go and make all-time highs, right? It's not for me, because if this was flipped around, I would be trying to get into buys like it was nobody's business. Like the price came down into like the 21,000, 17,000 area for Bitcoin, like everybody would be seeing how frantically I'd be trying to buy it when everybody would be like, oh, no, Bitcoin's dead, yada, yada, this, that, and the third. So, and if you guys didn't know the reason why I have this fib up, this is why. From this low, back in March of 2020 to this high, the retracement, 71% fib at 21 or 22,000 basically is where most of my most of my crypto holdings will be waiting for or Bitcoin holdings will be waiting for a buy opportunity there. So that's for Bitcoin, guys. Like this, like I said, this supply zone is really holding pretty nicely. The 4-hour time frame is just consolidating. It does look like a bullish flag here, but I'm not gonna try to. I'm not gonna join and try to buy at a supply zone. The only thing that I would probably end up doing, and even that is kind of hectic, is for me to like put us like, okay, hold on, 1 hour time frame. If you look at the 1 hour time frame right now, it kind of looks like there's a head and shoulders pattern, right? And it's in a supply zone. That's number 2. Gonna have to fix up that. You see what I mean? It looks like a head and shoulders pattern. And so if this head and shoulder plays out, then and it's out of the supply zone, those are not good looks for me to say that, oh, this is gonna keep going bullish. So again, I'm waiting. I'm not really trying to get into any holdings. Like, I'm not trying to buy any cryptocurrency for long-term holdings, because personally speaking, this is just my opinion. And hey, let's go and take a look at some stuff. Go ahead and take a look at some stuff right here. Let's go take a look in the Fear and Greed Index, number 1, and number 2, let's look at this. I call it market psychology. Okay. Greed 72. Yesterday it was at 74. Last week there was fear in the market. Now there's greed in the market, especially because prices are at those highs, right? I don't want to see greed. I mean, it's kind of hard not to see greed not to see greed at these highs, but those aren't things that are going to make somebody say that, oh yes, I'm going to go ahead and buy at these prices. Like, if this was down over here and prices were at these highs, then that's a different story. But not, I can't just get into these, like I said, long-term wise buy, especially at this supply zone. Can't do it. Go ahead and look at these images of the micropsychology as well. I just want to ask you guys right here, what does this look like to you? Drop, retracement, and then a fall, right? We were up here at this euphoria, and then price ended up dropping. Once price dropped, that's when there was huge major, this looks like you want to either buy the dip or the market is done, yada yada, and then we have this retracement. I'm sorry, but if I were to draw a Fibonacci tool on this, just off of this chart, and this is probably going to line up with the 61.8 right here. I can assure you of that. And then you see, and then after that, another push to the downside. I'm just saying, guys, this doesn't look to me as if this market is going, like right here, this is where I feel like we really are. We just need to cool off for the next rally, because that's what everybody and their mama on social media is talking about, right? They're like, oh, people are holding the dip. Oh, don't sell, yada yada. That's cool and everything, but again, everybody is saying we just need to cool off for the next rally. Everybody is saying that, oh, the next rally is coming. Oh, the next bull run is coming, yada yada and stuff like that. If it happens, I'm so happy about that. Don't get me wrong, I'll be ecstatic by it. But I'm just keeping it 1,000. So let's see what happens with these cryptos for reals. I'm just keeping it a stack. Okay, so that's for Bitcoin right there. Arbitrage, daily time frame, it looks pretty bad here, I guess. Price bounced off of this what's it called? Lower danger zone and took off like a madman. That's good to see though. Weekly time frame, we might be getting next week, depending on how next week candle closes, we might be finally getting that exit on this weekly Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. I know that everything on here, except for the probably 1 hour time frame, is calling for And even the 1 hour time frame is just looking sloppy, but everything is calling for buys right now. So again, be patient with the cryptos. This 4 hour is setting up pretty nicely. If you do ask me, it looks like it's setting up pretty nicely for potential sell. But I would have to play it off like this, where we have the sell, retest, continuation type of play. So that's for Bitcoin. Being patient on that. Ripple took off. Man, what happened here? And again, this is another reason why I'm so happy that I actually ended up getting out of my Ripple and Ethereum sells that I told you I was getting into, and I then I break even instead of waiting for price to stop me out. Just like, okay, this thing looks like it's gonna take off. Let me just get a break even, right? So get rid of this here. Bounced off of that demand zone. That's nice. Hit that sell box and left a wick right there. Again, those are signs that I do not like to see, because previously it did something very similar where it took off and then it came right back down, came back into the sell box, something that I'm not really, I mean, I had drawn it there for a reason, because I'm like, yo, this is probably where price is going to end up coming to. And so it hit that 61.8, but I would want to see 1.25500 to get hit. I think I had talked about this on Tuesday with Ripple, and I mean, even $1, if $1.50 can get hit on Ripple, that'd be dope. But then that would make me be like, okay, what are the other cryptos looking like? Are the other cryptos still holding in their supply zone and everything like that? Yada yada, and all that good stuff, right? So fortunately for me, when it comes to Ripple, I'm not going to be able to get into that, but I'm going to see if price gets into that 1.25530 area. And if it does, maybe I'll try to get into a sell again, and we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, this is not looking the greatest. It's not looking the greatest for me to try to buy. I just don't see the buys for me here, guys. I really don't, and I don't want to be negative Nancy and say that cryptos are gonna fall because everybody's so bullish on them. But that's exactly the reason why I don't want to be looking for buys, because everybody's talking about the buys. Everybody's talking about, oh, buy crypto, buy this, buy Shiba, and all that stuff. As much as I respect everybody's decisions on that, for me personally, I'm like, I gotta wait it out. These are not prices that are appetizing to me to try to get into, so gotta wait it out. So that's for Ripple. Want to see what 1.25561 or 1.50 does. Those are my two main targets that I'm looking for. And Ethereum is still holding at these levels here. Actually, I'm not gonna front. I got into a sell here. It's still holding at the supply zone. Same thing with Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin and Ethereum, which have the most market dominance, let's just take a look. Bitcoin has 43.97% dominance in the market. It's holding at the 71% fib for the dominance. So that's interesting to say. I had drawn this out like a couple months ago. And then Ethereum, likewise, it has 18% of the market dominance. When the all-time highest that apparently on here was at 30%. And those have the most market dominance, but they're still holding at these supply zones. So they collectively 43%, 18%. That's what 62% basically, because it's 44% with Bitcoin because it's 43.98. With the dominance that high, if Ethereum and Bitcoin end up falling, it's probably going to bring the other cryptos down with it. No type of cap. Bitcoin USD shorts. The shorts there's not a lot of shorts in the market though. That's a good thing to see. Like, there is not a lot of shorts when it comes to Bitcoin. And it looks like people are buying more than anything. Back in May, June, that's a different story. Let me see if I can find ETH USD shorts. Now, Ethereum shorts, on the other hand, are starting to climb up. So that's something that you definitely want to watch out for. Like, Ethereum shorts are something that is climbing up slow and steadily. But, you know, like I said, if these things hold at these levels, I'm still bearish on them, you know? from this high to this low, price came up to the 71%, been rejecting it very nicely. So I kind of want to see this end up falling, you know, 1782. It might not be so far-fetched, let alone, let me grab this fib right here. From the high right here, then we see price came all the way up to 4,000, dropped, retraced, and then it's still holding at the supply zone. Again, it's not too far-fetched to think that the likes of 1782 or 1352 may get hit again. So we'll see what happens on that. I'll take a look at arbitrage. And if you guys hear any noise in the background, my wife is just getting ready. We're out in Calgary, and so she's just getting dressed and stuff like that. But let's go on over to Ethereum. Weekly time frame, never called for the sell, so this has still been very much bullish, very, very much bullish. But again, I'm still not convinced quite yet because of that supply zone and how price is holding at that supply zone currently. And with all the Ripple and the Bitcoin bullish moves that are happening, and yet this has still just been consolidating, basically hasn't surpassed this high so it hasn't surpassed 3690 or anything like that. Still skeptical. Daily time frame still, daily time frame is about to call for a buy, and the candle's going to close in 3 hours and 34 minutes, but it's at this upper danger zone, so we'll want to watch out for that. 4 hour time frame is looking like it's potentially setting up for a sell, and the 1 hour time frame, it's called for a sell. So again, guys, with these cryptos, I'm not necessarily not trying to be negative Nancy as I usually say, but these things are not looking the greatest for buy opportunities, and I will not buy at these supply zones. There's just no way, Jose, for me. Let's go on over to GBP USD. All right, so same thing. It's literally at this point the same thing as what I was talking about last week for GU. Just wanted to see the breakout to the downside, the retest. Price has been consolidating at this area. I want this to continue falling to the downside. There's really no change in how I feel about this market right now. Daily time frame, especially with how the daily closed on Friday with a doji, but it looks more it looks like this is going to fall to me more than anything. Weekly time frame, let's take a look at it. I'm pretty sure there's a wick to the upside. Let me go ahead and get rid of the drawings. Yeah, a wick is rejecting off of that 50 EMA, and I actually forgot that that's the 50 EMA on the weekly. So again, another reason why I'm trying to sell the GBP USD. I don't think this is going to go bullish, right? So nothing's really changed on my opinion for that. GU 1 hour time frame looks rubbish. 4 hour time frame looks like kind of rubbish, but not really. It came up to the upper danger zone almost and then fell, but again, I'm not really trying to trade off of that. The daily time frame is definitely still looking bearish, and the weekly, yeah, you already know how I feel about this on the weekly. So with that being said, I'm still feeling this analysis. I'm still feeling this sell bias right here. So that hasn't changed for me. GA, I might actually get into sells depending on how the market opens on Sunday. I might actually get into sells on GU, but it'd probably be more towards London session, because if I can get a stop hunt to the upside for London, that'd be better. Like, that would just be better for me. Yeah, I'm not paying attention to this 1 hour time frame. Wick to the upside almost came to the 78.6, but didn't hit it, and then still it's like, yeah, I'm still bearish on it. I'm gonna put blue here. GA, let me not lie, I am in a ETH USD sell, so I cannot lie. GA, well, I'm not going to lie, I should say. GA, it looks like this is just gonna end up making, like, gonna go do the digital dash to the downside, right? And I mean, it's been following the plan, although I didn't get into it, and it is currently holding at the 78.6 fib level. So if these fib levels hold right here, then GA can potentially come back up to 1.88614. So that's something that I'm going to be watching out for, especially since AUD USD, if it's going to fall, then GA might be going bullish. But with GA, it's like, okay, if the GBPs are weak and the Australian dollar is weak, then it's not going to move. If the GBPs are strong and the AUD is weak, then it's going to go bullish. And if AUD is strong, GBP is weak, then it's going to go bearish. But I'm more feeling, again, if these lows don't get breached, which looks like the price just literally came and did a liquidity grab right here, did this quick liquidity grab, push to the upside, retracement, continue. Man, if it holds right here and it doesn't go any lower, I might get into a buy on GA, quite honestly, but we'll see how that works. Weekly time frame, price had gone bullish and it played out pretty damn nicely. Daily time frame, very bearish, and I don't know why I didn't hold this sell. Played out very nicely. 4-hour time frame, calling for sells on the 4-hour, and it's rejecting on the lower danger zone. That's not what I would want to see for me trying to buy. And the 1-hour time frame did call for a buy, and it's just showing some rejections here. But again, guys, I might buy this. We'll see what this market looks like on market open, but I might actually get into this buy as soon as the market opens, no cap. So there's that for GA. The thing, you already done? Done-ish? Well, in here, I mean. All right, so GBP JPY. GBP JPY. This trade that I had gotten into, I got out right here. Like, once price passed through 152.162, I didn't even stay in the trade any longer. This is what I was thinking I was going to do. Fall to the downside, but it kept going bullish. And this is another reason why I'm going to probably end up buying GU, because GJ went bullish like this, but GU didn't. That's interesting to me. Let me go ahead, though, remove drawings, go into the weekly time frame, and let's run this back, right? So GBP JPY. Doesn't this look sort of like a huge head and shoulders pattern to you guys? I just noticed that right now, and that's why I'm just like, oh, well, would you look at that? No, huge head and shoulders pattern. Now, what I probably am going to be anticipating, which is why I said with GU, I'm probably going to end up waiting for London session on Sunday or Monday, market open, whatever you want to call it. For a price to do like a stop hunt to the upside to grab the equal highs, drop down, retest, continuation to the downside, and from this high to the low, you can see that these fibs up here, they never really did get tested, except for the 61.8 from right here. The 61.8, yeah, I got touched multiple times and then dropped. But I would want to see how it's going to handle if it comes up to like 153.832, for then a drop, retracement, and a continuation to the downside type of move, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to actually, that's what I'm going to be waiting for. I'm not going to try to get in where price is at. I'd rather wait for it to see if the market's going to climb back up here. Although that is pretty steep. And it is currently at equal highs right here. Although I feel like it did take it out. But again, the weekly candlestick, it looks very bullish. So I'm gonna wait for, like I said, 153.832. That might be the best bet. But hey, this head and shoulders pattern doesn't look that terrible either. If you are down, you are an individual that is hella down like that, then you can play something like this, where it's a very swing-ish opportunity. where you move your stop loss to these equal highs where the head is at, and then you just take it to the downside type of move. It's a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, but it will take a few days, if not a couple of weeks, for it to play out. Whether if it goes in a stop loss or it take profit, but it will take a few weeks. So I'm leaving my alert here at 153.830, and that's when I'll probably be looking for short opportunities on GBP JPY. Because again, I do like the idea of these highs getting ran through. I do like that idea. GJ weekly time frame called for this sell last week. It's doing the retracement. If it holds right here, I won't be surprised for it to continue for a potential fall. Daily time frame call for a buy just on Friday's candle close, but again, I wouldn't try to buy once prices at these highs. Like, it's just not for me. It's no bueno. I'd rather wait for these again. I would rather wait for these equal highs to get ran through, and then for price to come back down before I try to get in or anything like that. So that's for GJ, but it was extremely bullish last week, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. Last but not least, Euro GBP, man. Euro GBP gave me some scares last week because I had my stop loss right here at 0.84691. Price almost hit that, and I'm like, man, whatever. It is what it is. I still want to see EG go bullish. Like, until these lows get broken, until the lows of 0.84500 get broken, I want to still see Euro GBP go bullish. So I'm staying in this trade, even though I see a whole bunch of red candles right here, just drop. Oh, one bullish candle, very small. But nonetheless, if I go into the weekly, it's like, well, it's still holding at the 78.6 fib right there. So again, I'm still looking for the buys here. Like, I'm not against the buys on EG. It's just that it's been a very bearish week on EG and a very bullish week on GBP JPY. So that's something I'm watching out for. But nonetheless, still in this like swimwear. 1 hour time frame on EG finally called this buy. I had said that I wanted to see that happen over here. Finally got the buy opportunity, waiting for the retracement to potentially get into another entry on EG. 4 hour time frame and above are all very much bearish. So you definitely want to be careful trying to buy EG if you're with me. But we'll see what happens. But with that being said, thank you guys for checking out my weekly Forex and crypto analysis. I do appreciate it. It's your boy ABK. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. This is how we are able to grow. And, you know, if you gain some value from here, drop some comments and tell us what value you gain from it, you know? Other than that, I appreciate y'all for watching. Y'all have a good week, and let's make some money.